Okay, people, I'm back. Tales from the Pen, part 15. If you're new to the channel, please go down and hit subscribe. Maybe hit a like button. Maybe leave a comment if you liked it. For those who are new to the channel, my name is Fred. I'm from Queens, and I talk about my experiences in the penitentiary. Almost 16 years of prison experience. I talk about Rikers Island to 9 upstate penitentiaries. And I do it, as I always say, not to glorify anything. I do it for the kids. I do it to deter people who think jail is cool. I do it for people who think jail is a rite of passage, that's what just happens. No, jail just doesn't happen. And that's what I'm here to do. You know, you may hear some stories that sound crazy. You may hear some stories that sound wild. But I'm here to enlighten people. And not just, basically my channel, yes, it is for the kids. But it's also for people who just want to know about prison, who just want to know about jail, who just want to know about the politics of it. So that's what I'm here to do. Now, I got away from doing these kind of videos for a little while because I've been doing the lives. I've done 3 lives, but each one averaged like almost 2 hours. So nobody really wants to sit there for 2 hours. Who the hell wants to sit there for 2 hours? Watch, right? But some of my main people, they're there. They're asking me questions, and this is why I do what I do. I do it to inform people as well, right? So I tried to upload something last night, okay? But what happened was, during, towards the end of the video, I was doing it on the phone, as I always do. And I got an Amber Alert. And when the Amber Alert came in, it actually, stopped the video. So when I was talking, it stopped. I said, oh, and I went back, and then I had to start all over from another video. So what then I did was I brought it to my daughter, who's 12, to edit it for me, right? I'm computer illiterate, so I got to get my 12-year-old. she knows a lot more than I do. And when I edited it, it put the end in the beginning. So I actually I uploaded it, and then I saw I had about 10 views. Excuse me, a little sick. I had about 10 views, and then when I went to press this to check, I seen that it was the end. I was like, oh no, it reversed. The editing app reversed it. So I was like, you know what? Let me just try to do this on the computer and see what happens. So here we are. We're doing this on the computer today. You might also hear the little cartoon in the back. I got my little, one of my sons here. I just took my other one, daycare. I got my 1-year-old here. And yeah, he's in front of the TV. Yeah. I love the people who would say, I don't put my kids in front of the television. Good for you. I do. I need some peace and quiet sometimes. Oh, yeah. That's just the way it is, He'll sit there, he's quiet. That's it. Hey, you, put the knife down. Get away from the stove. But I'm watching my kids, believe that. That was a joke. Anyway, so during the 6 hours of the live, I know a lot of people, a lot of my viewers, I have, well over 4,000 subscribers. I know a lot of people didn't see them all, everything that I said. So I'm going to take some of the things that I said. Maybe some of the people have heard some of these things from the live if you were in the live. But if you weren't in the live, then, I'm going to give you a little something today, okay? Today we're going to talk a little bit about maybe rapos, maybe pedophiles, things like that. And I'm going to bring up a couple examples of these guys and, usually what happens to them. We're going to answer a couple questions. I got a couple questions that people ask me. And the first question is from Paolo in Alaska. Oh, man. Shout out to Alaska. Let me tell you something. Again, this thing has done so much more and is way beyond of what I ever thought it would be. I have people writing me from all over the world. This guy's from Alaska. I got people writing me from all different countries. The weird, the one that was, crazy to me was Indonesia. I was like, what the hell? Saudi Arabia. They're watching. Salute to everybody out there. So Paolo wanted to know, is there a gang in there that's the most least respected? I mean, if you're a gang, you gang, right? Whatever gang it is, and, that's just the way it is. However, in the hierarchy of it, from the gang members that I know and have spoken to, from the stuff that I've seen, from the stuff that I've been around, I would say out of all of them, you have the Bloods, you have Crips, you have Latin Kings, you have, MS Kids now, and, I'm popping up in there. Then you have, you have Nietas. But the thing about the Nietas is that, again, I know some Nietas that bang, you know what I mean, that go hard. Shout out to Pancho, Lewis, you know what I mean? A bunch of those guys. But the reality of it is that the Nietas are looked at as a certain way by other prison gangs because of one reason and one reason only. They allow homosexuals. Can I say that without getting in trouble? Homosexuals. They allow homosexuals in the gang. Now, before these hate groups come at me, I got nothing against homosexuals. Nothing. It is what it is. You are who you are. That's the way it goes, right? You shouldn't be something that you're not. If you like what you like, you like what you like. Again, I got nothing against it. And I got nothing against Nietas. None of that either. Again, I got some homies, that are in that. But it's weird, when you see, a guy in the middle of the yard, tightening up his shirt so his belly shows, wearing his tight pants and switching around the yard, and then claiming Nieta. So I know people can understand exactly what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So, to Paolo out in Alaska, I would say, gangs are gangs, and you will get stabbed and killed by any of them. But I think Nietas are looked at a little bit different only because of that factor I spoke about already. About, them allowing anybody in. One's walking around with lipstick, painting their fingernails, claiming Nieta. You see what I'm saying? So it's looked at a little bit different, if that makes sense. Checking my boy out over here. He's hanging out over here. They also, a lot of people were asking me because I mentioned it on the live about rat hunters. No, people haven't really heard about them. They're pretty much a jail-based gang, and it's just what it's called. The rat hunters. They hunt rats. They don't like snitches. They don't like any of that. And the crazy part, I got a quick story about the rat hunters. So I went to Clinton, right? And I'm spinning the yard, and I saw this guy. And I knew him from about 10 years ago when we were in Queens House of Detention. He looked a little different because when we were in Queens House, he had long hair. He had a little bit more size on him. He was fat. When I got to Clinton, he had slimmed down a little bit, and he was bald, pretty much bald. So this was about 10 years later when I seen him. But when we were in Queens House, he went to court one day. He wasn't supposed to go to court. And he's arguing with the police. I don't have court today. They're like, well, they want you in court. So he goes to court. It's a long process. You're there all day. So we're watching the 6 o'clock news, and this guy's face pops up. Okay? His name is Jose Santiago. Okay? If you Google him, he's on the sex offenders list in Puerto Rico. He apparently moved to Puerto Rico when he got out of prison. And he's on the sex offender list there. His name is Jose Santiago. You can look him up. I don't care about putting these clowns out there. In some videos and some interviews I've done, I've changed a few names, to offend people. I'm not changing this bozo's name. So anyway, so we see him on the 6 o'clock news. And what happened was he was getting rearrested. recharged, because what happened was he was using the phones and he was calling his victims. This guy was a child molester and child baby rapist. Okay, he was raping boys and doing stuff like that. He was taking them on the roof in Coney Island and raping them. He raped a bunch of boys. I think it was like 6 or 7. Not sure how many. I was a bunch of them. We didn't know this though. He was acting like he was in jail for robbery, blah blah. You know, this was before you can actually check the internet and all of that stuff. The internet, you know what I mean? The site didn't exist for New York State, you know, inmate lookup, or New York City inmate lookup. You can do that now. So what happened was, we saw this, and what happened, he was calling his victims and telling them don't testify. So they would give him a new charge for tampering with witnesses. We were like, oh shit, this clown, he had a big mouth too. Nobody really liked him. So when he came back that night, he didn't know that he was on the news. So when he came back that night, you guys know what this means? He got dealt with. You know what I mean? He got stabbed. He got, blanket thrown over him, hit in the head with mop bringer. He got destroyed. And I don't feel bad about it. Not in the least. We got no love for those kind of guys. Right? So, again, 10 years later, fast forward. My kid's crawling on the couch. Anyway, 10 years later, fast forward. I see this guy in the yard. And I see who he's hanging out with. I see the few people, and I see he's hanging with. He's a rat hunter. He himself is a rat hunter. So, I knew one of the guys, my man Flacco. Shout out to Flacco. I said, yo, man, let me talk to you. I knew him from another jail. We start spinning the yard. What's going on, Fred? Dude over there that you got with you? I explained the situation. He's a child molesting rapist. He couldn't believe it. So I took him to the phone, called home, okay? Told my people, look him up. Now there's 2,157 Jose Santiago's, but we had his ID number. Put in his ID number, and all his charges came up. So I put Flacco on the phone for my people, let them know, and they told him, what the charges were. He was devastated because I think he was Flacco's best man at his wedding, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I know the dude recognized me, you know what I mean? When, he knew who I was. Like, I ain't changed that much, you know what I mean? Like, I saw him, he saw me, you know what I mean? So, I wanted to get the jump on him in case he tried to spin it to these other dudes. Like, yo, that guy, did this, or that guy did this to me, or whatever. And these guys don't even know that he's a baby rapist. You know what I'm saying? And now they're coming at me, and I don't know, I don't know where it's coming from. So I wanted to get the jump on him. You understand? So Flacco was like, wow, that's crazy, man. Thanks for telling us. Boom, boom, boom. They went and asked him for his paperwork. He couldn't produce his paperwork. So they knew. And he got dealt with again. I didn't have to do anything on that one. That was his own clique. Again, rat hunters, official dudes. Most of them are, I can't say like every gang member is like official. It's not. A lot of them soft like regular people. You know what I mean? Rat hunters, there was not a lot of them, but the dudes that was in it, they was official dudes. True story. So, and I think he only had like 10 or 12 years for all these for these incidents. And a lot of people have asked me, well, why don't they keep pedophiles and rapists in jail longer? Which is a good question, because there's another story about another rapist. His name is, again, I don't care. His name is Jimmy Barnes. Okay, you can Google him. Go to NYS inmate lookup. And you can type in Jimmy Barnes, and you'll see he's the first one up there. He's in Otisville, because it'll have the facilities. He's in Otisville, and he played Muslim as soon as he went in. And now the crazy part about this, man, I don't know. how or why, but I know some people that came home from there, and he's the imam of the Muslims up there. Excuse me. He's like the head of the Muslims in Otisville Correctional Facility, state. Makes no fucking sense. They don't know. Probably people don't know up there. You know, they don't know. And he'll be out in 2023, and he raped, I think, 13 girls in Queens. This man I'm telling you about. You can Google it again. You can Google NYS inmate lookup, New York State inmate lookup, and you can go and type in his name, last name, first name, boom, done. You understand what I'm saying? So this guy, he had like 60 years. I don't know how he gave time back. The judge did something wrong, messed his sentence up, and now he gave a lot of it back. He'll be home in 2023. Now, so people tell me, how do these kind of people get out of jail, Fred? I'm going to tell you why. Because, as just say like a rape victim, right? In order for that man to go to jail, eventually you're going to have to go to trial, which will be a year, 2 years down the line. And you're going to have to testify as the victim. You're going to have to get up on the stand, point this man out, and say exactly what he did to you. Everything. You're going to have to relive every single thing that he did. Okay? From, wherever he touched you, wherever he did, whatever it is. And you have to be precise with it, because the defense attorneys come at you all types of sideways and craziness, right? Trying to get their client off. That's life. That's how it goes. So as a victim, right, do you really want to put yourself through that situation again? Do you really want to relive everything, that the nightmare that that you had? Because some people it's like a nightmare, right? Everyone is the nightmare. Not most, some. Everyone, it's a nightmare when somebody violates you. Okay? So, with that said, a lot of the victims don't, they're in therapy for the past year or two, and they don't want to, rehash and relive that. So a lot of these prosecutors give these guys cop-outs, and they cop out, they go upstate for a few years, they come home and they do the shit again. Same thing with the kids, right? Parents out there, think about it. God forbid something happens to your kid, right? Now, for the next year or two, this guy's sitting on Rikers Island, county jail, whatever it's called in your city. And you got your child in therapy. You got them seeing psychs and talking to people and understanding their feelings. In order for that guy to get convicted in trial, your child is going to have to get up on the stand, no matter how young they are. Is that what you want? Yeah, buddy. Is that what you want? Do you want to put your kids through that and have them relive a traumatic experience all over again? No. As a dad, I'm telling you, you don't want them. You want to put it, you want to help them, but you don't want them reliving this shit. So again, prosecutors give these kind of guys deals, 2 or 3 years. They go upstate, come out, and they do this shit again. Repeat offenders. Look at my face. Makes me fucking sick. Sorry I'm cursing, but makes me sick. These guys, something else should happen to these clowns. You know what I mean? Especially the serial rapists and it wasn't even like somebody said it and maybe it's not true. It's, you got 12 people saying the same thing. Fucking clowns. You know what I mean? It really just makes me sick. And I'm sure even just listening to me say it's gotten, a few people out here feeling the same type way. It just makes me sick. I just feel like, things should happen to these people. And that guy did. Jimmy Barnes, that I'm telling you about. When I was in Queen's house with him. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but when I do my Tales from the Pen series, I number them. And if you notice, I went from 5 to 6.5. Because I put up 6. And I spoke about this bozo here that I'm telling you about. That's the imam of the Muslims right now in Otisville, state New York. Right now. And I spoke about what happened to him. And I spoke about how he got stabbed 21 times. Okay? For his transgressions. Once dudes found out what was going on, he got, he got dealt with. Look. He got dealt with. You know what I mean? That's just the way it goes. You know, and I know for a fact he got hit 21 times. Now, in that video, I spoke about, you know, how, you know, my participation in that. And that video was strictly just about that. And that's not really what I'm about. You know what I mean? Yes, I have to tell these kind of stories so people understand what happens, right? Yes, I have to tell these stories so people understand the you know, what really happens in the penitentiary. But I don't do it in the glorify, you know, to glorify shit, as I always say that word. I love glorify. I don't say it in that kind of way. But in that video, that's what it was. And there was nothing educational about it. There was nothing teaching about it. And I just felt that it represented me wrong. You know what I mean? For somebody who watched it and was like, oh my, you know, a few hundred people ended up watching it before I took it down. So those people got a treat. Because I got no love for those kind of people. You know, I knew this other one. His name was Kenneth DeGraff, something like that. DeGraff, something like that. He was from upstate, and he was he was a child molester. You can look at his face. Some of these guys, you can just read their face. You know what I mean? When you've been in prison for a long time, some people you could just look at and you could just, you know, you might read them wrong, but you know what? You become a good judge of character. So some of these people, I could look in their face and be like, oh, this guy's no good. We knew this. Come to find out he had, you know, molested all these kids in this town, little town upstate. So somebody that I know, what he did was he took his knife, and this happens a lot up there too. And what happened was he put shit and piss in a milk container, shook it up, right? Call that gas. Shook it up, left it there. The day he knew he was going to stab this guy, the night before, he had his knife sitting in the shit and piss. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. He had the knife sitting in the shit and piss and let it marinate in the shit and piss. Next morning, came out, dude walked past, hold that. Stabbed him in his ribs a couple times. Dude ran off. You know, I know people who've died from that. The bacteria from the shit and the piss is also in them now, too. Oh, yeah. This is stuff I'm sure nobody's ever heard, right? Shit and piss, you put your knife in it. Oh, yeah. Get them germs. So when you stick that knife in them and you know, and you turn it or whatever, all the bacteria is now in him as well. So it's not only did he get hit and stabbed and maybe his lungs were collapsed, which is what happened to this guy, but he also suffered due to the infection. It's prison. Anything goes, man. And this is why I do what I do. This is why, you know, I'm trying to, you know, express these type things so that people understand that, man, prison is not a fucking game. And if there's kids watching this right now, I need them to understand that prison is not a game. Prison is not a rite of passage. You do not have to go. You have to make the right choices. You have to make the right decisions. That's it. You do not want to go down certain paths in life. Excuse me. You do not want to. Stay your ass in school, man. This is the stuff that happens. I know people who their preferred weapons were fiberglass. They would make knives out of certain fiberglass and plastic. Okay? Sharpen them up really good. And then when they hit somebody, preferably in the stomach or a soft area like the neck, the stomach, any of those type places, they would do it and then break it off in them. Like whatever it was breakable. So they would stick real deep and then break it inside that person. So now that fiberglass is still inside of them. I seen that happen with a dude's neck. Dude hit him in the neck and broke it off. It was like more like some wood. It was like some weird wood the dude had. Sharpened it, boom, and he broke it off. Shit was sticking out the dude's neck. Half the shit was squirting all over the place, man. This is... What are you doing, buddy? No. Okay, thank you. This is what goes on in prison. This is what happens in prison. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I used to walk around with a Visine bottle full of bleach, full of ammonia, like the Visine bottles, like that. I used to get the nasal sprays because of my allergy. I have very bad allergies. So I always used to get the nasal sprays. I used to dump that shit out, put it in another one, and I used to fill it with bleach or ammonia. Walk around with it right in my pocket. So shit pop off, you know what I mean? Because again, I wasn't the biggest dude. When I went to prison, I was like 5'7". I came home, I'm 6'3". I was a little dude. So I needed some type of advantage. So I used to walk around with the Visine bottle filled with, like I said, sometimes ammonia, sometimes bleach. Something pop off, right in the eyes. No matter how big you are, that shit get, and now you got the advantage. Is this how the fuck you want to live your life? Is this what you want to do with your life? To these kids, if you out here watching, that means you're free. Stay your ass out here. You do not want to go through these type of things. I have 2,977 stories that I could share, and I'm going to share, and I'm going to continue to share. I wanted to get back to this type of videos because I love the lives, and I'm going to continue to do the lives, people. Love you guys. But this is my bread and butter right here, man. Just telling stories, freestyling. Sometimes, like I say, I have a few PowerPoints that I know I'm going to say, and that's it. I don't have nothing script, nothing scripted, nothing. This is just what I do. I get on here, turn it on, and let's go. But I do it for the kids, man. I do it for the people who think this shit is good, man. Prison is all right. They've seen a few movies, and they think they know prison. Like I said in my live, they watch Blood In, Blood Out and think they know everything. Oh, there's no Vatos Locos over here. Right? He agrees. I'll be damned. I'll be damned if my kids go through what I went through, man. That's why I'm the dad that I am, man. If any of you out there, especially you dads who's out there right now and you're watching this and you're not taking care of your kids, man, X my video, man. Get out of here. I hate deadbeats. Your kids got nothing to do with it. I don't care what she's doing or what she says or what she does. I do driving for a living. I had this guy in my car the other night, and he starts telling me he had 2 kids. He split up with his girl, and she don't let him see the kids. I told him, man, you got rights. Go to court. You have rights. Oh, you think that's a good idea? I just wanted to turn around and smack the shit out this dude, man. Get out of my car, man. Because there's too many of us, man. Too many kids out there, man, being raised, by their mothers. Their mothers do a great job. Salute to all the single mothers out there. Salute. But especially little boys, man, they need a man in their life, man, to show them a positive role model. Someone asked me on the live the other day, man, how did Scott, I believe, he asked me, man, how did kids change your life? That's how they changed my life. I realized I do not want them to go through anything, not 1/1,000,000th of what I went through. So not only do I do this and I feel that my destiny is to do exactly what I'm doing right here, right now, but I also feel my destiny was as a father. I'm a great father. And I also know and understand the streets, and I also know and understand, the peer pressure that goes on. I know this. And I know and understand all this. So I also feel that I went through everything that I went through to become the parent that I am now, right now as well. Anybody that knows me, they know. You know, I got custody of my child here in New York. You know how hard that is? Last January, I got custody of her. She lives with Dad, my 12-year-old. Because they even knew. They understood. I say all that to say, any of you deadbeats out there, man, get in your kid's life, man. They don't, you don't got, some of these kids, I have no money, I don't give a shit. The kids don't give a shit about that, man. They just want to see you. Go hang out in the park with them, talk to them, see them. That's it. FaceTime. Like, I hate deadbeat dads, man. Not as much as I hate rapists and things like that, but deadbeat dads make me fucking sick. Anyway, sorry. You see how I get lost and just start going everywhere, anywhere, and shit like that. Anyway, we're already up on a half hour. I'm going to try to keep it to, keep these videos, like I always say, man, to about a half hour. And people, you know the motto. Experience is the greatest teacher. But somebody else's experience could be just as valuable if you listen. So please, kids, pay attention, man. Pay attention to what I'm saying to you. Stay your ass in school. Because as I always say as well, and this is probably going to go on the shirt, the streets don't love you. Do something positive with your life. Be something. You want to impress people? Impress your family. Impress yourself. Be somebody. Don't let other people's perceptions of you become reality. Be somebody in life, man. Do something with your life. On that note, I love you guys. I'm going to come back with the live maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, next day or two. It's coming. You know what I mean? Definitely coming. I also, for the people who've been asking me about the 23-and-1, in case you haven't watched the lives, I did 23-and-1 last week. I'm just waiting for Josh to, he edits it and does what he does, and he releases them when he feels like releasing them. Salute to Josh at 23-and-1. And I'm going to be doing an interview most likely tomorrow with Nate Dogg 916. Cool cat out from Sacktown. If you haven't seen my video with him, please go on his channel. Nate Dogg. It's NATEDOGGN 916. So Nate Dogg 916. And he's got 2 parts of an interview up there. We did it in one day. He changed the outfits on me. You know what I'm saying? But, so it looks like I'm wearing the same thing. But we did, it was a continuous video. It's part 1 and it's part 2. Please go support, you know what I mean? Go support somebody who he's also did a lot of time, and he's a very positive dude. He's trying to do some positive things. I'll be interviewing him tomorrow for my channel, so you can get his story. So please check me out, probably, and I'll have it out either Thursday night or Friday morning. I will have my interviewing Nate Dogg. It's gonna be my first interview, people, interviewing somebody else. So yeah, salute to Nate Dogg 916. Salute to Josh, 23-and-1 Lockdown. And on that note, people, I'm gonna cut this a little short, and I'll catch up with you in the next day or two. So salute to everybody, and it's Fred White signing off.